Welcome to Train Signal. In this video, we're talking about A+ Essentials laptop computers. This is part of Train Signal Fast Track CBT video CompTIA A+. Our overall goal in this video is to help you understand the fundamentals of laptops and portable devices. So we're going to have an introduction to laptops, learn about laptop form factors, RAM, peripherals, expansion, power, and LCD displays. We'll talk about configuring laptop power management, how to safely remove hardware, how to troubleshoot your laptop, and some preventative maintenance you should be able to perform on a laptop. First off, let's talk about the A+ exam objectives as they relate to laptops and portable devices. This is basically domain 2 of the A+ objectives, and you can see it's 2.1, 2.2, all the way through 2.4. So there's a number of topics that this video covers in the laptop domain. The first one is that you should be able to identify the fundamental principles of using laptops and portable devices. Primarily the form factors such as memory and hard drives, peripherals, expansion bays, communication connections, power and electrical input devices, LCD technologies, styluses, function keys, be able to identify and distinguish between mobile and desktop motherboards and processors, including throttling, power management, and Wi-Fi. 2.2 says you should be able to identify, configure, optimize, upgrade laptops and portable devices, configure power management, and demonstrate safe removal of laptop devices. 2.3 says you should be able to identify tools, basic diagnostic procedures, and troubleshooting techniques for laptops and portable devices, such as being able to verify AC power, DC power, remove unneeded peripherals, toggle function keys, unique laptop keypad issues, and antenna wires. 2.4 says you should be able to perform preventative maintenance on laptops and portable devices, such as cooling issues, hardware, video, cleaning, operating system, environmental issues including temperature and air quality, storage, transportation, and shipping. So those are our A+ exam objectives. There's a lot of objectives that are covered in this video, and with that, let's get started. So let's start off with an introduction to laptops. Laptops are generally called notebook computers or notebooks. They generally weigh about 2 to 12 pounds or 1 to 6 kilograms, and generally laptops have a battery that makes them fully mobile. To me, this is the real difference between a desktop computer and a laptop computer. The difference is that the laptop can be fully mobile because it has a battery. So you can unplug it from an AC power outlet and carry it around your office. Now, laptops have the general dimensions of 8.5 to 11 inches, so about the size of a sheet of paper, and they're about an inch tall. So in general, they might look like a textbook from a college course. That's about the same size to me as most laptops. Of course, laptops vary in size. They can be smaller, they can be lighter, thinner, they can be bigger and heavier. Today, laptops have LCD screens that open up to reveal a keyboard and a touchpad or stick. So this is another important aspect of laptops. They have the built-in screen and they have a built-in keyboard and mouse of some kind, either a touchpad or a stick. Today, laptops are broken up into these categories. First off, there's the ultra portable. This is also called a sub-notebook, and screens on ultra portables are less than 12 inches in diameter, and these weigh less than 3.5 pounds. So these are very small, very light, getting towards a PDA device. Then there's thin and light laptops. These weigh between 3.5 and 6 pounds. There's medium-sized laptops that weigh between 6 and 8 pounds with screens of 15 inches or more. Then there's desktop replacement computers, which are heavy and have 17-inch screens. So desktop replacements, because of their big screen, they might have a lot more power, might have a lot more expandability. They're also going to weigh a lot more. Not something you want to carry around with you every day, but they are portable because they have built-in batteries and keyboards, LCDs, and mice. Most people today, I think, really are choosing either the medium size or the thin and light. And some of the medium size over time, even with a 15-inch screen, have gotten down below 6 pounds. So laptops just keep getting smaller and lighter and more powerful. Now that's quite a difference from back in the 80s when these portable computers were created. These were very heavy and they were termed luggable computers back then, meaning you could carry them around, but they were really heavy to lug around with you. They were not very fun to have to carry to the airport or wherever it was you had to take them. They couldn't even run on batteries, in fact. They were portable desktop computers, you could say, that had built-in monitors. And the cost was over $10,000 for most of these luggable computers. Now, over time, these computers grew smaller and more powerful. The weight went down, the RAM sizes, the CPU speed, and the hard disk capacities went up, and so did the battery life. Then wireless networking and cellular data service were added. Those are some of the latest technologies to revolutionize how we use laptop computers. With wireless technology, laptops could not only be disconnected from the AC outlet because of their battery, but they could still be connected to the network because they were using the wireless network to access the LAN or to access the internet. So that way you could have a completely portable laptop computer that still had, say, internet access. So now let's talk about tablet PCs. We're still in our introduction to laptops, but tablet PCs are basically laptops whose screens will swivel around and then close. And so essentially what you're looking at is typically you'd be looking at the back side of the LCD screen, but instead it's the front side of the LCD screen. And then the tablet PC screens are touchscreen. So here's a regular laptop down here. This is actually a desktop replacement size laptop because it has a 17-inch screen. It has a full-size number keypad. It's a big and heavy but powerful laptop. Tablet PCs would be smaller than this, and like I said, this screen would swivel around, close, and then you could turn this sideways, and so it'd look like a book in your arm, and you have a touch screen where you could actually write on this screen. And then the programs might do handwriting recognition, or you're pointing and clicking and dragging and dropping, things like that. So that's a tablet PC, and these are becoming more and more powerful and more popular. Handheld PCs, HPCs, and PDAs are also very popular today. Today, handheld PCs and PDAs, they're really the same thing. Examples of handheld PCs and PDAs are Treos and Blackberries. Treos are made by Palm, and they're small handheld PDAs that look a little bit bigger than a cell phone. In fact, they have cellular Treos, or in fact, Treos are cellular, but Palm also makes PDAs that are not cellular. So Treo is the cellular version of the Palm PDA, so it can access the internet, it can access your email, keep track of your calendar, appointments, contacts, tasks, all those things. The BlackBerry, on the other hand, is made by RIM, Research in Motion. This is a company that only makes cellular-enabled PDAs. That's all the BlackBerry is. And it does the same type of thing: email, web browsing, contacts, calendar, tasks. These devices are small enough to carry on your belt, on your hip, so they're nothing like a laptop, but they have a lot of the same functionality. Now, a new device in this category is called the Ultra Mobile PC, or the UMPC. These devices run Windows XP tablet operating system, and they have a 7-inch or smaller touchscreen. Examples are the Samsung Q1 and the Sony Vaio UX Micro PC. This has a solid-state hard drive, so there's no spinning. There's nothing inside there spinning around. It's a lot like an iPod. iPods have solid-state hard drives that don't actually spin around and go out. Now, many PDAs and ultra-mobile PCs offer integrated cellular data service. So right here, this is an example of the Samsung Q1. Notice how it has arrow keys over here. It has a screen, and it's a touch screen, and it has some more buttons over here. It has speakers, has this small 7-inch or smaller display, but yet it runs the full Windows tablet operating system on a built-in hard drive. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. You can carry that around in your hand and run the full Windows XP tablet OS. Now let's talk about laptop architecture. Laptops are similar to desktops when it comes to the basics. Like they all have CPU, RAM, hard drives, keyboards, displays, video cards, network interfaces, power supplies, so on. However, because of the space and power requirements, laptops have a number of differences that you need to be aware of. First off, laptop components are much smaller, they're much lighter, and they use much less power than desktop components. Because of these space and power requirements, most laptop components are proprietary, meaning non-standard. So you can't just go out and buy a replacement laptop motherboard from anyone for your Dell laptop, let's say. You can't just go out and buy another, network card or video card for your laptop. These are all very small, they're integrated, they're proprietary, and they're made just by the company that made that laptop. So if you have an HP laptop and your video card goes out, chances are you may have to go buy a whole new motherboard because all that is integrated into the motherboard, and you'll have to buy it only from HP. So the only standards that are really around for laptops are the RAM and maybe the hard drive. So you might be able to upgrade your hard drive with an industry standard hard drive that you bought from Seagate or Western Digital. You might be able to upgrade your RAM using an industry standard RAM that you bought from an online website, let's say. So those components are pretty standard, but just about every other component on a laptop is proprietary. Now the outside shell of the laptop is called the case. Laptop cases are usually made of ABS plastic so that they're strong and lightweight. The case is typically in the clamshell design, meaning it opens up with a hinge on the back and the display is on the top and the keyboard's on the bottom. Now replacing a cracked case is very labor intensive, and labor intensive in technician terms always equates to expensive for the end user. So it takes a lot of work to replace the case because there's just so many small parts and so many tiny wires, and it can take a long time. And then once you put it together, you have to test everything to make sure it works, and it can be a big pain. Just like replacing the laptop motherboard can be very labor intensive. Now, just like desktops, laptops have motherboards. These are also proprietary and very compact and small. Many times adapters will be put into daughter boards. For example, what's the difference if your video card goes out in your laptop compared to your desktop? Well, in your desktop, you can just go buy a new video card from your local electronics store, bring it home and replace your video card, or you disable the onboard motherboard video that's built into the motherboard and you use your new video card. Or worst case, you go out and you buy a new motherboard off the shelf from the local electronics store that has a built-in video card and replace it. So that's a desktop. But if it's in a laptop, chances are you're going to have to either replace the whole laptop motherboard or replace the video daughter board that plugs into the motherboard. And you're going to have to buy that only from the manufacturer who made that laptop. And you're probably going to have to take it to a technician to have it properly replaced because it can take a long time and it's very delicate. All right, laptop CPUs. Laptop CPUs or processors use less power and run slower than similar desktop computers. So when you go shopping for laptops, don't be surprised that they run slower than desktops. That's just how they are because they use less power. Now these CPUs use less power because they cannot generate the heat that's acceptable on a desktop. So because laptops, they don't have as much cooling capacity as a similar desktop does. They don't have those big fans. They don't have those big cases to suck the air in and out of. They don't have the luxury of having those huge heat sinks with fans on the processors like a desktop does. Laptops just don't have that. So because they can't create the heat, they can't run as fast. Now, one of the most useful options for laptop computers today is a wireless network adapter. For wireless networking or Wi-Fi is what it's commonly called. Now, with the Intel M processor, or the mobile processor for an Intel chip, this wireless networking is built in. Other manufacturers will build it into the motherboard, or you can buy a USB adapter or a PC MCIA adapter if it's not built in. Now, all laptop devices, motherboard, CPU, and hard drive, include power management features that allow them to throttle down power usage to conserve battery life. So what this means is the processor can slow down, the hard drive can slow down. All these different components can kind of kick down to a slower speed that uses less power, creates less heat, and doesn't eat up your battery. That's really what you're trying to conserve the most, is your battery. All right, so let's use this little chart here I created on comparing laptops versus desktops. What's the difference between laptops and desktops? Well, there's good and bad in each, and each has its own use and its own purpose. You don't want to buy a desktop and try to, take it with you on a trip. Just the same, you don't want to buy a laptop with a 12-inch screen and try to use it every day for, desktop publishing. So each one has its own purpose. So first off, with laptops. Laptops are lighter, they're smaller, and they're portable. They cost much more than desktops. If you compare them, they might cost 25% or more than a comparable desktop. And even then, it probably won't be a comparable desktop. It'll probably be a faster desktop. Now, laptops are proprietary. You can't build your own laptop. You can't go out and buy all the components like you can with a desktop. Laptops are more delicate. You can't work on them typically yourself. You might have to send them in to the factory for repair. Laptops have less performance and they're less expandable, but they're also more convenient, right? You can take a laptop, walk around your house, sit out by the pool, surf the internet, check your email, carry it to a meeting in your office, take it to the lunchroom. All these things you can do with laptops you can't do with desktops. Desktops, on the other hand, they're larger, they're stationary, they stay on your desk. They cost a lot less, they're cheaper, they're more open. If your video card goes out, you go buy a new video card and replace it. They're more durable. If you drop a desktop, it's probably still going to work. They're pretty durable systems. You get more performance out of them, and they're much more upgradable. You might be able to stick 3 or 4 hard drives in some of these larger desktop cases. You can swap out the processor, get a faster processor. You can upgrade to RAID disk array. You can get all sorts of upgrades for desktops because they have the room and they have the expansion capability. So each one has its own use. If you're doing desktop publishing, obviously you're going to get a desktop because you need some big monitors, you need a fast system. You don't care about bringing it with you. If you're a traveling salesman, you need a laptop, definitely, to take it around to customer sites and do quotes and check your email from the hotel. So each has its own purpose. All right, let's talk about laptop form factors. Now, because laptops are small, their memory and hard drive components must also be much smaller than desktop computers. Now, while these can be proprietary components, many times they're industry standard. They have an industry standard form factor. So these hard drives and these RAM chips are industry standard. You can go buy them at your local electronics store and swap them out. Now, of course, like all laptop components, laptop RAM and hard drives are more expensive because they're smaller. So keep that in mind. Not only is the laptop more expensive, but so is the RAM when you go to upgrade the laptop. Now, because there are more industry standards these days, the prices have gone down and they're more reasonable than they used to be in the past. But still, they're going to be more expensive than desktop upgrades. So generally, there's 2 types of laptop RAM. There's the SODIMM, the SODIMM, which is shown here in this picture. Then there's microDIMM, which is shown here in this picture. So you can see the difference. The micro really is significantly smaller than the SODIMM. The SODIMM, I know, is used in many laptops. It's also used in Apple Mac systems, many Apple Mac systems, especially the integrated iMacs, to do their upgrades. So those are 2 types of laptop RAM. They're both standards, and you can go online and you can buy an upgrade for your laptop in one of these 2 laptop RAM form factors. All right, let's move on and talk a little bit more about laptop RAM. You saw the microDIMM and the SODIMM. The micro DIMM is 50% smaller than the SODIMM. It's about the size of a quarter, and it's designed for ultra portable computers. Now, the SODIMM is the most common form factor in use today for laptop RAM. It's about 2.5 by 1.25 inches, and it's offered in different pin configurations with different speeds. So just because uh, this SODIMM over here has these pins across the bottom doesn't mean the one that your computer will need will have that same pin configuration. Now, just like any RAM, you have to make sure that that RAM is compatible with the computer that it's going in. You know, just because you need one type of SODIMM for a single Dell laptop doesn't mean your other Dell laptop is going to need the same SODIMM, the same model, same type. So a great site to find RAM for your laptop, desktop, or other device, even Cisco routers and switches or printers, and just about anything that takes an industry standard RAM chip. You can go to this website, crucial.com. They're a manufacturer. They're a branch of a major memory manufacturing company, and they have a great tool where you just put in the brand and the model of the device you want to upgrade. It shows you the different upgrade paths, the different upgrade options, the RAM choices that are available. You just click and buy them, and the prices are pretty reasonable. It's a site that I use fairly often when I go to buy RAM. Just a suggestion though, there's many excellent websites out on the internet to buy RAM from. Now let's talk about laptop peripherals. When you begin using laptops, you may get into some specialized peripherals. For example, a docking station is a common laptop peripheral. What this does is it provides a desktop replacement connection for a laptop. So say you come into the office with your laptop, you've been traveling, you're going to be in the office for a few days, you take out your laptop and you plug it into this box on your desk that just has one connector that connects to the laptop. And with that connection, you get access to all the things that this box is hooked up to. A full-size monitor, full-size keyboard, full-size mouse, speakers, network connection, maybe even a hard drive or external CD-ROM. All these things that this box called a docking station is hooked up to. And the docking station might even provide kind of a little stand for your laptop. So let me show you what one of these docking stations looks like. This is an example of a docking station right here. The laptop slides into this. It connects with this one cable to the laptop. On the front here is volume control and mute. This is an adjustable stand. And when you connect to that cable, you see the cable coming around here on the back. All these connectors down here on the bottom would be connected to your common peripherals. So here you have video, you have Ethernet, modem, USB ports, sound, audio, power, all these things you get just with one connector. So it's a lot better than walking in the morning, taking out your laptop and having to plug in, 5 different cables into the laptop to gain access to all your network resources, your power, your external peripherals, keyboard, mouse, all these things that you would commonly want access to when you're using your laptop as a desktop replacement. So that's a docking station. All right, then there's port replicators. Now, a port replicator is similar to a docking station, but it has a lot less features than a docking station. And these are available to prevent you from having to connect your cables each time you bring your laptop to your desk. But they just have a lot less features. So it might be just a little box, maybe the size of 3 foot or 3 inches by 3 inches, just a little box. One connector plugs onto your laptop and it has a few external cables. So it's not a full-fledged docking station that your laptop sits in and connects to, and it has a lot less connectors on it. Something else that's particular just to laptops is a thing called a media bay. Media bays are slots, big slots on laptops that allow you to plug in things like CD or DVD drives, hard drives, or floppy drives. And what media bays are used for is to be able to swap out these different types of media. So say you have this big bay on your laptop, and most of the time you keep a CD drive in there, but you could also take out the CD drive and you could put in a DVD burner, or you could put in a hard drive, or you could put in a floppy drive. Now all these peripherals are proprietary to the manufacturer of that hard drive. They have to be made just to fit in that media bay. And so for that reason, I would say media bays aren't as popular as they used to be, but still something that you should be aware of, so that if you ever are going to work on a laptop that has a media bay, you're not confused by what the heck is that big removable slot on the side of the laptop. All right, next up, laptop expansion slots. Now, since laptops don't have adapter slots like PCI card slots, laptops have several special expansion slots used to add devices that you would typically add in a PC expansion slot. And the first one, and one of the more popular, is a PC MCIA slot. Now, that's kind of hard to say, but it stands for the Personal Computer Memory Card International Association. And there's three different types of these, 1, 2, and 3, but really 2 is the most popular type of PC MCIA card. Now, recently they've renamed this card to a PC card to make it easier to say and easier to remember, and I can't say as I blame them. So these PC cards are about the size of a credit card, and I'm going to show you one in just a second. They could either be Ethernet adapters, wireless adapters, SCSI or SATA adapters, cellular data cards, and there's many other types of PC MCIA cards. Now each type, 1, 2, and 3, has more pins and is taller. So type 1 just has 1 row of pins, type 2 has 2 rows of pins, type 3 has 3 rows of pins. They get taller and thicker. Now special software is required to use PC MCIA cards called socket and card services software. And typically these are the applications that come with the PC card you buy on a CD. These come on a CD usually when you buy the card. Now type 1 is generally used for memory cards, type 2 is used for adapters, and it's the most common today, and type 3 is used for hard drives. So let me show you what these cards look like. So right here, this is the side view of a laptop. You see this big blank square slot right here. This is a PC card slot. And typically there's a little cover, a little blank that goes in there, a spacer if you will. And that's where you would insert your PC card. And usually they hang out the side of the laptop just a little bit, maybe an inch. Down here you see this is a Netgear wireless PC card. And if you look at the side of it here, this is the side view, you see 2 rows of pins. This tells you that this is a Type 2 PC card. So you would insert that in the slot. You would have to load some drivers off of a CD, and you'd have an instant wireless adapter on your laptop. A very easy way to expand your laptop with more adapters. Granted, many laptops today come with built-in wireless, but there might be reasons you need a special card or you need a different or faster wireless adapter. Or it doesn't just have to be a wireless adapter. Like I said, it could be a SCSI adapter, a SATA adapter, a long list of other types of adapters. Cellular WAN cards are available to access the internet. A lot of different types of adapters are available in this PC card format. All right, now let's talk about a few other types of laptop expansion options. First off, there's express cards. Now, express cards are an upcoming replacement for the PC MCIA card, and they were developed by PC MCIA, but they're not backward compatible. So you can't buy a laptop with an express card slot and take a PC card and put in there. It's not going to work. It's not going to fit. Express cards are out there, but they're just still not taken off yet. They come in 2 form factors. There's a 34 millimeter and a 54 millimeter. And they offer much more bandwidth than the PC card does. So you can be on the lookout for those in the future. The next one is modular bays. And we talked about modular bays where these are the bays you can put in a CD or DVD drive, a floppy drive, and even sometimes you can put in a battery. So they have these media bays that are just for media like CD, DVD, floppy, and hard drive. And then some laptops have what they call modular bays, which cover all those things, or you could even put in a battery. So you could have a second battery and extend your battery life by using the modular bays. But keep in mind that these drives and these bays are proprietary. Then there's USB and FireWire. And we talked about USB and FireWire on PCs, but it's also, of course, applicable to laptops. USB and FireWire less so are amazing technologies for expanding a laptop. And I say FireWire less only because it's just not quite as popular as USB. But it's also faster and offers some more higher end peripherals. So now you can get hard drives, DVD drives, tape backups, printers, Ethernet cards, wireless cards, and even silly things like coffee warmers to connect to your USB port. And today USB has replaced really the dedicated keyboard mouse ports on most laptops. So you can easily plug in a USB keyboard or mouse into your laptop and just connect it that way, just like you connect your external CD or DVD drive. You can buy USB hubs to plug into your laptop if you don't have enough ports and get even more expansion capabilities. All right. So we just talked about USB FireWire, and now let's move on to laptop ports and network connections. Some other important laptop ports and connections you should know about are listed here. The first one is mini PCI. Now, based on PCI cards, the mini PCI slot is about a quarter the size of a PCI card. Now, unlike PCMCIA cards or PC cards, the mini PCI is installed in the laptop, not just periodically inserted into this slot, and it's available for a number of applications. So like in the bottom of the laptop, you would have a door that you might have to unscrew or would have some sort of latch on it. You would open, and inside there you would insert this mini PCI card. So it's not meant to be periodically just taken in and out like a PC card is. The mini PCI card is more of a permanent installation, or it's intended to be a semi-permanent installation. Like installing a PCI card in a PC, you have to unscrew the case, you have to take out the card slot cover, insert your new card, put the case back on, load your drivers. So, it takes more time than just inserting a PC card, using it, and taking it back out. All right, the next one is cellular. Now, WAN connectivity to the internet over cellular data networks is usually done with PCMCIA cards, express cards, or through Bluetooth. It's getting faster and faster, up to megabyte speeds. I've heard 4 megabytes per second, or I'm sorry, megabits per second, over the cellular data network, which is amazing. Just through the airwaves that you can get that sort of bandwidth on a roaming laptop. And now I've seen even now USB cellular adapters, which makes it even more easier to get on this internet cellular data network. The speeds for this are more than typical monthly cellular voice service, but it's still a pretty amazing service. All right, the next one is just standard old Ethernet jack. This is a physical RJ45 connector to the wired Ethernet network, and it's built into the laptop typically. So in this laptop, you see a laptop down here. This blue cable right here, this is a RJ45 Ethernet adapter or connector right here. So this connector goes to the cable, and that cable goes to the switch so that you can get connected to the LAN. Here, this laptop also has a docking port cable to go to a docking port expansion system. This is a RJ11 to go to a phone line for the internal modem. Both of these here, these are USB ports, and over here, here's your PC card slot. All right, now let's talk about infrared and Bluetooth. Infrared is short-range line of sight connectivity, network connectivity. It's slow, and it's typically used for data synchronization or used for printing or periodic data exchange. So before Bluetooth was here, infrared was common if you wanted to, say, have a printer with a little infrared port on it, and you could print, across your office to this printer. Or maybe you had a PDA and you had a laptop and you wanted to exchange data. Now, more commonly, what you'll find is Bluetooth. Bluetooth is also meant to be short range, but it's wireless and doesn't use light like infrared does. It uses radio frequency. And commonly you see Bluetooth devices such as headsets used with cellular phones. So this right here, this is a headset, a Bluetooth headset you wear on your ear. It has a speaker and has a microphone down here, and it syncs up with the Bluetooth protocol to your cellular phone to allow you to talk wirelessly through your cellular phone. So you can also do this through your computer. So your laptop might have a built-in Bluetooth adapter, or if not, this is a USB Bluetooth adapter right here. You connect it onto your laptop, and it gives you Bluetooth networking through the Bluetooth network to go to your headset or maybe to your cellular phone. I've used wireless uh, cellular internet access through my cellular phone using Bluetooth. So let me review that. I go from the laptop using Bluetooth to my cellular phone, and my cellular phone has cellular internet access, and that's how I surf the web through my laptop and then through the cellular phone. So there's some pretty cool things you can do with Bluetooth, and even if you don't have it on your laptop, of course, you can get it with a USB adapter. All right, the next one is wireless. Wireless networking has grown tremendously in popularity over the last number of years. Just about everybody is using wireless now for their home network, or most people are. And wireless has now begun being built into laptops. It's common. Just about every laptop produced that's new today has built-in wireless networking. It just makes sense. I mean, laptops are meant to be portable devices. Why not have the networking be portable and over a wireless network instead of having some cable? So there's different wireless standards. There's 802.11a, B, G, and N. Now, these are used for medium-range wireless networking connectivity. So with Bluetooth, we said it's short range. Wireless networking can go up to 100 meters or about 300 feet in ideal conditions, they say. So ideal conditions is like a field in the middle of Kansas, I think, with no obstructions. So when it comes to using it inside a house, you're going to have more interference, more walls, and it's going to be a shorter range than that, but still, hopefully, it can cover, your house. If not, you might have to get some sort of wireless extension. The wireless distribution standard allows for a second wireless device to be installed on the other side of, say, your house or your office, and those two wireless adapters or access points will talk to each other, and one of them will be connected to the internet, and the other wireless adapter or access point will talk back to the first one and allow a total wireless coverage network over the house or small business. Now, wireless comes in different speeds and different protocols. You have to make sure that your adapter is compatible with your access point. So down here on this slide or this picture, you see a USB wireless adapter. This is it says wireless G right there, a Linksys wireless G, 2.4 gigahertz. It's a USB wireless adapter. So say your laptop didn't have one of these, or you had a PC that you want to put on the wireless network, just plug this into the USB port, and there you go. You're on the wireless network. Now, if you have a laptop, like I said, most laptops today have this built in. You see here on this laptop, I'm sure it's hard to see, but there's a button. And that button, when wireless is enabled, there's a little thing that looks like a radio tower on it. You push that button, and the button glows, and wireless is enabled on the laptop. It's built-in wireless. And that button's really there so that, like, if you go on an airplane and they say you have to turn off your wireless networking, you push that button, and wireless is disabled on the laptop. So that's wireless networking on laptops and portable computers. All right, now let's talk about power. Now, laptops will either run on batteries or, of course, from the wall outlet. But when connected to the wall outlet, they'd be charging the built-in battery. So these batteries have, of course, a limited time that they can be used, both in the number of minutes you can actually use the computer before the battery is dead, and a limited lifetime for the battery. So it might only hold a charge for so many, hundreds of hours, or a year or 2 years or whatever the time might be before the battery has to be replaced. So it's a rechargeable battery, and it can be recharged over and over again, but it does still have a limited life. So here, this is just an example of a battery. that would go into a laptop. Now, it says here the batteries used are either NiCad, which is nickel cadmium, lithium ion, or nickel metal hydride. So NiCad batteries can only be recharged a limited number of times. Laptop batteries come in all different form factors for every different brand and model. So the shape of this battery is going to be different depending on if you have an HP laptop, an IBM laptop, a Dell laptop, and even laptop models within those brands are going to have different shaped batteries. So there's no universal laptop battery. Now you can also connect your laptop to DC adapters to connect to the car's cigarette lighter or the airplane's power adapter. So you could buy a cigarette lighter adapter for your laptop to run off the DC power from your car or on an airplane. Now there are also AC adapters that have fixed input voltages and more universal power supplies that will adapt to different currents when traveling. So as you travel around the world, you get different types of AC electrical connections on your wall outlet. Well, you can buy laptop adapters to match those different types of voltages that you'll get from a wall outlet around the world. You can also get power adapters that have kits with different plugs to connect to electrical outlets around the world. So those plugs, besides being different voltages, are also different shapes. And if you're traveling with a laptop to foreign countries, you'll have to get a AC adapter that has those different types of plugs and accepts the different voltage. All right, now let's talk about LCDs, laptop LCDs. These liquid crystal displays are made up of transistors in semi-crystalline liquid. Now these transistors, when turned on and off, can provide a display for any type of computer or TV. These thin light displays are perfect for laptops. Today they've taken over the desktop market and they're sold as TVs. Here you see a laptop, or not a laptop, but a desktop LCD display. This is a 19-inch LCD display, and these are common on desktop computers, but they're great on laptop computers because they're thin and they're light. And you've already seen what a laptop LCD display looks like up here in our picture of our introduction to laptops. So you see the LCD laptop display there on that laptop. All right, we're talking about LCDs, and we'll move on to our next slide on LCDs. Laptop LCDs, there's two types of LCDs available. The first one is an active matrix. Now an active matrix requires more power, but it has a very clear picture and a fast display. The second one is a passive matrix. A passive matrix laptop LCD is slower, but uses less power. Now, LCD displays come in a number of different resolutions. The resolution of the display is the number of horizontal and vertical lines used to make up the screen. Now, the more lines of resolution, the better the picture you get. So I've listed out a number of popular display resolution standards. The first one is XGA. XGA is the Extended Graphics Array. It has 1024 by 768 lines of resolution with 256 colors. It also supports 800 by 600 with 65,000 colors. Then there's XGA2, and it supports 16 million colors. Next up is Super Extended Graphics Array Plus. This has 1400 by 1050 lines of resolution. Next, there's Ultra Extended Graphics Array, or UXGA, supports 1600 by 1200 lines of resolution. Then there's WUXGA, or Widescreen UXGA. It supports 1920 by 1200 lines of resolution and has a 16 by 10 widescreen aspect ratio. So if you wanted to watch widescreen DVDs, let's say, you would want to get this widescreen widescreen LCD display, so you could get the full aspect ratio of these widescreen DVDs you might want to watch. All right, now all LCD monitors have a fixed resolution, but can scale to other resolutions. So this is important to know the fixed resolution of the display you're buying, because if that fixed resolution is too high density for you, or too has too high of a resolution for you, and you don't like it, then you move it down to a lower resolution. You could lose picture quality. So you want to make sure that whatever the default fixed resolution is for that LCD display, that you're comfortable with that. Now, if the resolution they scale to is not proportionate to their native resolution, the picture will look stretched in one direction or another. For that reason, make sure the native resolution of your LCD monitor and video card match. And as I said, also make sure that you're comfortable with that default resolution or that fixed resolution. All right, now the contrast ratio of an LCD monitor is the ratio between the lightest color and the darkest color of the screen. Uh, that means to you that the lower quality LCD displays cannot show true black, and even other colors will look dim when a light is near the monitor. Now, the more contrast the monitor can offer, the better. So when you're shopping for LCD displays, make sure you look at the contrast ratio of the monitor. Now, common contrast ratios are 500 to 1 to 800 to 1, and the higher end displays have a contrast ratio of 1200 to 1. So be on the lookout for that. All right, next up we're going to talk about laptop input devices. Now, desktops have their keyboards and mice, but laptops have a much wider variety of input devices. Now, most laptops don't have full keyboards, and they have the keypad spread across the regular letters on the keyboard. This number keypad can be accessed when pressing a numlock key on the laptop keyboard. Laptops also have special function keys that usually say FN, and these keys can do a variety of things based on the manufacturer. For example, the function key might be used to change the volume of the speakers, to play DVDs, to change the monitor output, or change the screen brightness. Now, you can usually hook up an external mouse on a laptop, especially with USB ports these days, but laptops typically also have touchpads or pointer sticks, an internal mouse, a built-in mouse. Now, these prevent you from having to have a solid place to rest your mouse. So you can take the laptop and put it on your lap and use this internal touchpad or pointer stick to navigate just like you would with a mouse. Now, with a touchpad, you can even click, scroll, or drag. With a pointer stick, which is also called a touch point or finger mouse, you push on a small rubber stick right in the middle of the keyboard typically. And the harder you push, the faster the mouse moves. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it works pretty well. Now, earlier laptops had trackballs. Today, many laptops have touchscreens, which makes them tablets. To use the touchscreen, your operating system must support this, such as using the Windows XP Tablet Edition. Now, you can also connect, of course, externally other input devices such as external mouse, digitizer, or some other input device. And typically today these are done with USB. So now let's take a look at some of these input devices. All right, on this photo here, the first one, you see a touchpad for a laptop. This is a built-in touchpad, and on this pad you take your pointer finger and you can move the mouse around the screen by pushing on the touchpad. You see this horizontal and vertical line. These are used to scroll left and right and up and down on the laptop. So to scroll like you would with a thumb wheel on a mouse. Then here you have your left click and your right click buttons. But you can also left click on the touchpad. Now this laptop over here has a pointer stick. You see that little red rubber knob there in the center of the keyboard. That's your mouse. That's your pointer stick or finger stick. Then over here there's left click and right click. And then this laptop actually has both. It has the finger stick here and then the touchpad down here. And you can use either one. Then here, this is a USB mouse that's meant and built especially for laptops. And the reason it's special for laptops is it's small, it's light, and it has the USB cable that wraps around the mouse. All right, now let's talk about configuring power management on laptops. When your laptop is not connected to the AC wall outlet, it's very important that your laptop is managing its power properly, or at least to your liking. You can choose to manage it however you want with the settings. But as an end user, you can configure how your laptop manages its power. Now, the control of power is managed with great help from the specialized BIOS on laptops. The feature in the BIOS that does this is called ACPI, or Advanced Configuration and Power Interface. ACPI is a standard that gives the ability to manage the power to the operating system installed with the right drivers. So, through Windows XP, for example, you can manage your power settings on the laptop hardware. Now, ACPI cannot do it by itself. The motherboard, the CPU, the operating system all need to recognize ACPI. Now, ACPI has 4 power level states. The first one is this global state. With global state, you're looking at the normal state of the computer. All devices are in full power but can be moved down to lower power, which is G0. The next power saving mode is G1, or sleeping. When the laptop goes into sleep mode, there are 4 levels of G1, S1 through S4. With each level, you get more power saving, but you also greatly delay the wake up in the laptop, the time it takes to wake up the laptop. Now with S1, all non-running devices are put to sleep, but can wake up quickly. This is called suspend. With S3, for example, the laptop is in standby, where there's only power going to RAM. S4 is hibernation, and that's where the RAM is written to the hard drive and the laptop is completely powered down. So unless your laptop is in S4 hibernation, there's still power being taken from the battery. So you have to watch out for this. Now there are 4 different states of power conservation for the CPU. These are called C0 through C3. There's 4 different states of power conservation for devices. These are called D0 through D3. Now performance state has different sublevels of performance and power saving to the processor and device states. All right, now let's talk about safely removing external devices. Much of the external hardware you connect to your laptop is connected temporarily. For example, a USB flash drive. You plug it in, you copy your files, and you disconnect it. Same thing for a camera or other modular CD, DVD drives. Now, to prevent corruption of the data to those devices, you should use the Safely Remove Hardware tool instead of just pulling out the USB flash drive. The drive could be fried if you just pull it out, or you could lose your data that's on that drive or the file that was being modified if you just pull out that drive. Other times, if nothing's going on, honestly, nothing's going to happen. But of course, we always recommend, and I recommend that you tell users to use the Safely Remove Hardware tool. So to demonstrate this, let me show you how it works. I'm going to grab my USB flash drive. I'm going to plug it in. And it comes up with this, a new drive has been inserted. I'm going to close that out. And then down here, one of my icons, whoops, those went away too fast, is this right here, Safely Remove Hardware. If I click on that icon, actually let me unhide that icon so you can see it. There we go, there's the icon. See this icon in the bottom right hand corner? Looks like a little, maybe a little USB drive and an arrow that points out. If you hold your mouse over it, says Safely Remove Hardware. If I double click on that, it brings up this window and it says, what hardware do you want to safely remove? Well, I have 2 USB drives connected. So basically I can select my drive that I want to remove and click stop, or I can look at the properties of that drive. Here it says this is a USB compatible drive. Let's look at the other one, see if it says anything different. No, basically the same thing. You can display device components here, which shows you the drive letter. To me, this is very important. You want to know what drive. You don't want to just know it's a USB mass storage device. So now that I know which drive they're talking about, I know, oh yeah, G, that's the HB drive key USB device that I just plugged in. I'm going to click stop on that, and I'm going to say OK again. Oh, it says try stopping it later. All right, let's try that again. Maybe it's in use. Let's try stopping it. This time, let's just stop the USB device. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So you just need to stop the device, not the whole USB mass storage device. Now it says the mass storage device can now be safely removed from the system. If I close that out and close this, now I'll take out my USB flash drive, and there we go. We safely removed it without a way to prevent any sort of data loss. All right, let me put away that safely remove icon down there in the bottom right hand corner, and then we can move on to our next slide. All right, now let's talk about troubleshooting laptops. Now, because laptops are specialized computers with such small components, they have different troubleshooting procedures than desktop computers. Let's learn about these special troubleshooting procedures. All right, first off, there could be power issues. Now, say you're having a power issue. Say your laptop won't power on, and you think, gee, what's wrong with it? You know, I thought it had power. What about the battery? Why isn't that working? Well, first off, I would always verify AC power if you're using AC power. So you have your DC to AC converter right there. It's plugged into the wall. Many times that wall outlet cord will wiggle loose, or there's a cable that goes to your adapter box there, and it's wiggled out. You know, make sure all your connectors are firmly plugged in. Many times they'll have a LED light on the laptop, you know, power adapter there. Make sure that light's on. Maybe it's gone out. Maybe that whole adapter's gone out. You need to swap it out. Maybe the plug you plugged into doesn't work. Verify DC power. Is the cable that goes from your laptop power converter to your laptop, is it plugged in correctly? If you have to, you can remove unneeded peripherals to prevent power drain. Many times if you're just on battery and you have something plugged into your laptop like a USB drive that eats up a lot of power, you might need to disconnect that. Next one is video issues. If you can't see what's on your screen on the laptop, you can plug in your external monitor, see if you get a display then. You can toggle your function key. If you hold down function, usually there's some sort of display key that toggles back and forth from an external monitor to your built-in monitor. Many times that key's been toggled and it's toggled off of the internal monitor to an external, but maybe the external monitor is off or isn't even connected. So you can toggle back with your function keys. You can check the LCD cutoff switch. This is an option on some laptops. You can verify backlight functionality and pixelation. Basically, check that your monitor and your LCD screen on your laptop are working properly. All right, then input device issues. What if you're having a stylus issue? If it's attached externally, make sure that it's plugged in correctly and it's recognized by the system. Many times you'll have unique laptop keypad issues. Just because you have a laptop, like we talked about, you have different function keys and alternate, you know, keyboards on this laptop that can be enabled with function keys or other types of special laptop keys. You know, make sure you're not having some sort of weird issue like that. I've had problems where I think I'm typing letters, but instead numbers show up on the screen. Well, there's some sort of numlock, you know, keyboard enabled on the laptop. All right, and then the last one is wireless networking issues. These aren't specific to laptops really, but because so much wireless networking is done with laptops, you may experience these on a laptop. Now, make sure you know that antenna wires are inside the screen. So you might want to, you know, prop that screen open a little bit more, set your laptop up a little bit higher on the table or whatever it is to help those antenna wires inside the screen get a little more gain to the network. Make sure the card is enabled and the wireless is turned on. As I showed you earlier, many laptops have a button you push to turn wireless on or off. Make sure that wireless is turned on, and then go into Device Manager and make sure that that device is enabled, make sure that network adapter is enabled. For example, if I go here to my Start button, I go to Settings, Network Connections, see all these network connections here. Here's my wireless. If I right click on that, you can see right now it's already enabled, or else this disable wouldn't be here. But if I click on this disable, my wireless network's going to go down, and then when I come back here and right click, I would only see enable here. So if there's enable here, then you know that that device is disabled. You can click here to go to the status of this device. You can see if it's connected. You can see if you have an IP address. You're never going to get anywhere without an IP address. So those are some specific laptop issues you may experience when working with a laptop. All right, now let's talk about preventative maintenance of a laptop. Now, being as laptops are complex devices that are moved around a lot, they're more prone to troubles than desktop computers. It's smart to try to prevent as many of these problems as possible. So let's learn more. So first off, prevent breakage. Well, it would seem that that's a pretty obvious thing you want to prevent, right? With laptops being moved around so much, they're prone to being dropped or broken. They're folded up, they're carried around, under people's arms, many times without any kind of case. Common issues are dropping the laptop, cracking the case, cracking the screen, broken hinges. Also keep laptops away from heat, and remember to give them some circulation. Many times these laptops have fans on the bottom of them. You don't want to just set a laptop on a carpet, let's say, or a rug, because those fans need circulation. That laptop needs cooling. Now, laptop fans can be cleaned with canned air. You don't want to get them full of, dirt and gunk. So you should clean them periodically, just like you clean desktop computer fans. Now, when moving laptops, I highly recommend putting the laptop in a padded LCD or in a padded case, and you can put a layer of padding between the LCD screen and the keyboard. That way, if the laptop's pushed down really hard, the keys aren't kind of mashed into the monitor. Make sure you put it in a padded case. I can't stress that enough. Don't just throw it in a backpack or just a regular bag. You can also add some extra padding by buying a padded sort of envelope that the laptop goes into, and then put the laptop in a padded case. Now, if you have harsh environments, you should consider ruggedized laptops. They have special laptops that have a lot of padding around them and sort of like rubber bumpers, and they can be water resistant on the keyboards and dirt resistant. And these laptops are used in manufacturing plants or at construction sites where the chance of the laptop getting damaged is much higher. Of course, these laptops come with a higher price tag, but if you can prevent the laptop from being broken, that little extra investment is probably worth it. All right, laptop LCD screens, they need to be cleaned often, and I highly recommend microfiber cloths or damp cloths to clean the laptop screen. These will collect the dust that gathers on the screen. Now, a common problem with laptop or any kind of LCD screen really is bad pixels. A bad pixel is a common occurrence on a laptop screen, and many times these are within the manufacturer's terms of their warranty. So if you have a little dot on the screen that's always black, that's a bad pixel. And just because you have one doesn't mean that the manufacturer is going to replace that monitor, even if it's brand new, because bad pixels are just a factor of life with an LCD screen. However, there's some number of these bad pixels that if they occur, the manufacturer then says, okay, that's a bad monitor, and we'll replace it. So watch out for bad pixels on your LCD screen. Now, if your LCD screen is bad on your laptop, it may cost more to repair it than the cost of buying a new laptop. It depends what's wrong. I've seen people who are able to fix laptop screens, say just the backlighting went out. You might be able to fix that for $50 to $100. On the other hand, if the screen is cracked, chances are you should just get a new laptop, because it's going to cost more to repair that screen than it is to just replace the whole laptop. All right, and with that, we've reached the conclusion of our video on Introduction to Laptops. In this video, we learned about specific factors that apply only to laptops, how they have specialized RAM, peripherals, expansion, power, and LCD displays. We learned about laptop power management. We learned about laptop ports and networking interfaces like Bluetooth, PC card, PCI cards, mini PCI cards, PCMCIA cards, USB devices, specialized laptop input devices like special laptop mice, and how you can hook up external keyboards and mice through USB. We learned about laptop LCD displays, what you need to do to prevent those LCD displays from going out, and other preventative maintenance tips on laptops. You know, make sure you blow out the fans on a laptop. Make sure the laptop gets circulation. Take every precaution necessary to prevent the laptop case or the screen from being cracked, including padded envelopes and padded cases. And then if you should have trouble with your laptop, we learned some common procedures you should consider to try to resolve those issues. I appreciate you watching our video on Introduction to Laptops. Thank you very much.